am Kori with Stories with Kori. I'm also Kori and Jared Photography. And so we have a heart to share just some stories of some incredible people doing some incredible things, especially in our local community. We hope we can encourage you to do some pretty cool things, both big and small, to make an impact on the world around you. We wanted to follow up. There was a story that we shared, the story of my accident a few weeks ago. And I feel like we have learned so many things as we have gone through this hard stuff. Today, I want to share with you a there's no slightly about it, embarrassing story. It is super embarrassing. It is super humbling. I feel like it is a God-sized story because it's definitely not something that I would do on a normal circumstance. But many of you know that with my accident, I broke a whole lot of stuff up there. And one of the things that had happened as a result is that I had my jaw wired shut. And so I had spent a lot of time in the ICU, and then they moved me up to the regular floor. And so one of the things that we have learned through this whole process is to ask for help. I feel like this is kind of a big story, but in asking for help, it's not something that comes normal to me or natural. It is not my wheelhouse. Like, I stink at it. I usually like to go things alone. And so I think this whole process of being humbled, right, of being broken literally, physically, and emotionally has just brought me to a place where I have had to learn to ask for help. There were things that I could not do on my own. There were things that I needed from other people, and it's a vulnerable place to be. Yet it's a good place to be. I feel like through this whole process, there's been a lot of heart work that has happened, and I think will continue to happen. And so I just want to encourage you as I am learning some big stuff, some stinky stuff, but it's good stuff. So as I am in the hospital, I'm transferred from ICU up to a regular room. Again, my jaw is wired shut, and I am thinking that I am on my way home, right? Like, I am working to get out of the hospital. And so one of the things that was kind of a next step was that I had to move from the IV medication to an oral medication. So when you are wired shut, everything is liquid. It is awful. It is nasty. And so that first time that I took that medication, the minute it hit my stomach, it literally came back up. And so I did, have a couple of people like, what happens if you have to throw up? Like, you just have to handle it. And so your mouth is wired shut. So kind of picture it, don't picture it. Either way, we're going there. Like, my jaw is wired shut. It's kind of like your thumb on the end of a hose, right? Like, those teeth are clenched and that is coming out no matter what. And so it finds all of the holes and it just sprays everywhere. And so at the time, right, like, you are in trauma mode, like, you are broken, like, it is awful. And there were a few things that I found comfort in. And one of them was literally my blanket from home that had been brought to me. Like, this blanket was my thing in the hospital, and it is now covered in puke. I am covered in puke. It is covered in puke. I'm sure everything and everyone around me was covered in puke. I think Jared was shocked that I didn't panic, because there's just nothing you can do. Like, it just happens. And so what I did next is kind of shocking. Like, I literally asked Jared, I said, Jared, can you text a very specific friend? I don't even know what I was thinking. And I said, can you ask her late at night if she will come wash my blanket? Like, can she pick up my blanket and wash it? Right? Like, on this side of the accident, I am thinking, like, how humiliating. Who asks a friend or not a friend to come and pick up your stinking blanket full of throw up and clean it? And what's even more shocking, that I asked her to do this, like, she did it, and she did it with a happy heart. Like, an hour and a half later, she comes back with my clean blanket and food and things for Jared, like drinks and snacks for us during that time. For us, there's no getting through, but for Jared. And so talk about being humbled, right? Like, humbled that somebody would do that for you. I feel like throughout this whole accident and recovery, like, we have felt the love of the Lord through so many people. And I feel like this is a real tangible way, right? Like, we had so many incredible people bring meals and do things that were so vital to our recovery. But something like this is something that is silly and big and huge, and it is a sacrifice to pick up somebody's stuff and to wash it and to bring it back. And I feel like I need that reminder on this side of things that there are people who are willing to help when you need it, and that I need to get better at asking for help in those big things, but also in those small things. And so I want to encourage you today that if you are somebody who needs help, ask for it, whether it is a big ask, like somebody washing your puke blanket, or it is a small ask. I feel like there is incredible power when we come together as a community. And so the second encouragement, if you can learn anything from this story through our challenging time, is that there is just such incredible power in showing up for one another. Again, we experience people showing up for us in ways that I could never imagine. And we have been so just humbled by it and just so thankful for it. And it is the reminder that I want to get better at showing up for other people. We had people who showed up and spent time with us in the hospital, people who brought us hand-grown flowers and notes and meals. And we literally had a friend, somebody that they literally liquefied a pot roast. So took a pot roast, reduced it to liquid so that I could drink it, right? Like, I feel like that is a talent all in its own. And I had another friend who offered to wash my hair, right? Like, it was days, like it was going a little crazy, and I had a neck brace on, and there was only so much you could do, and just people showing up to walk with me, walk around the block, walk around the orchards. Like, let's be honest, at first it was walk to the first driveway. It took a lot of steps and it took a lot of time. And, we're not completely back at it. And so it does still require, I still require help sometimes, even as I am working to physically get stronger. And, it just takes time, but it also has taken people showing up for us in all of those incredible ways. If there's two things I want to encourage you with today, it is that if you are somebody who needs help, ask for it. Friends, let's get better at asking for help. It is a skill to be honed in on, and it is something that I need to continue to work on. But I also want to encourage you, if you are somebody who is sitting at home or sitting on the other side of the screen and you are saying, like, I desperately need help, whether it is somebody to pray with you, whether it is somebody to meet a physical need, and I encourage you to ask the people around you. If you don't have anyone around you that you can ask, send me a message, send me an email, direct message me, like whatever it is. I would love to see if I can meet that need, or if I can pull resources of other people to meet whatever need or whatever it is that you are walking through. I think it's big. It's big to step out and to ask, to do the big ask of helping, to asking for help. But I think, again, I want to be also there to meet that need. And so the other second encouragement is just to show up for each other. I want to get better, again, at paying attention to people around me who need help. And so, if there is somebody that you know of who needs help, whether it be an encouragement, a phone call, a helping hand, whatever it is, a meal, to walk an orchard, to gain that strength, whether it is physical or emotional, I encourage you to do it. Take some time today and just show up for one another. There is incredible power when we ask for help. There is also incredible power when we show up for one another. So I hope you were encouraged by my super awkward story that you will probably never forget, right? I think that's kind of why we get the awkward stories, because they're memorable, right? I will never forget asking to have my blanket cleaned, and not only that, but for that friend who showed up to do it. And so I hope you were encouraged today. We have a lot more stories coming, not just stories from me, but some other incredible people that we are excited to share. So next week, we are going to share the story of why we started doing photography and how we got started. We're also going to have a little bit of a getaway, not a getaway. I would love a getaway. I mean a giveaway. And then over the coming weeks, we've got some more stories planned for you. So follow us along on Instagram. That's where we'll be announcing some of those giveaways. And we've got lots of fun stuff coming for you. So again, I am Kori with Kori and Jared Photography, also the creator of Stories with Kori. And thank you for taking the time to hang out and to listen. Hopefully you are encouraged today.